So let me guess. You've always been different, right? You've always been the one to stand out in a crowd, and not even intentionally, and I'm sure you didn't want the attention at all. You just always stood out. By your family members, you've always been told you were different. By your peers, kids you went to school with, kids in the neighborhood, they would just always say, something's wrong with her. And you did everything you could to like try to hide from that. You didn't want people to see you as different because we are very tribal as humans. From our hunting and gathering days, like if we did not stay together, it meant death. So humans is all about being accepted and being a part of the tribe. So you did everything you could to tame down what made you so unique, what made you crazy to some. And I say crazy because when I was a kid, I remember sitting at a table eating an apple. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but I think it's the earliest memory that I have. I was eating this apple, and as I ate it, I was like laughing, and food was coming out of my mouth. And I mean, sure, it sounds crazy, and it sounds like very odd, and that's just one of the things that I would do. I was a very odd child, and I remember all the kids at the daycare center like sitting away from me and saying, "We're not playing with you anymore." And there was this one girl, her name was Victoria. Anyways, it was this one girl, her name was Victoria. And we would go to school together. Well, we went to school together. We also went to daycare together. And at daycare, there was a lot of older kids there. So she would say that at school, I was cool, I guess. So at school, she was like, I'll be your friend at school, but not at daycare. At daycare, we're going to act like we're not friends. And that really hurt my feelings. So the next year in second grade, she didn't come back to our school, and I told everybody she died. It's not funny, but I did it. Oh my God. Yeah, I did it. And yeah, after that, I just started to see that even outside of school, outside of like being around my peers, in my family, I was told that I was crazy. Taylor, she's something wrong with her. She's crazy. And I just kept hearing it as I got older. Oh, Taylor's odd. And eventually I learned how to mask. I learned how to really fit in because I was tired of being ostracized. I was tired of being the oddball out. And I know you've done the same thing. Eventually you just learn, like, okay, what is everybody else doing? And how can I blend in? Because I'm tired of standing out. It's just getting exhausting. It's getting exhausting being the weird one, being the odd one, being the quirky one, being the quiet one. I mean, I'm sure you have so many personalities that you that you put on depending on the atmosphere that you are in, depending on the environment that you are in. So every time that you went to an environment, you really learned how to switch. And my people, we know how to do the code switching. So it's just like constantly code switching, even within your own peers, even within your own culture, you find yourself constantly code switching. Here's the thing. You were never meant to blend in. You were always made to stand out because you are the one. You're the one. Everybody else is twos and threes, but you are the one, right? And it's time to like really stand in that, really hold your power in being who you were created to be. And like take what was seen as a weakness before and turn it into your superpower. Because as an artist, what's the thing that you want to do anyway? You want to stand out. You want to be able to differentiate yourself from the rest of everybody else. And you've always did that anyway. So again, because of society and culture and everybody around you, probably kind of laid back from that. You started to become what everybody else wanted you to be. But now I want you to become who you were made to be, who you always have been. Start to take the mask off and reveal, unleash. I said that to a client the other day. She was like, I don't like that word. It sounds like, ugh. But unleash is powerful. Unleash this creative star that's within you now. Because the thing about trying to fit in is that it never works. It always feels like you're wearing like uncomfortable shoes. And it seems like everybody knows it too. You're walking different, and it's not until you take the shoes off, maybe when you're at home, you close the door, or you're around someone that makes you feel really safe, that you feel really safe with, that makes you feel really comfortable, that you take the uncomfortable shoes off. And it's like, oh girls, you know, when we got that ponytail, we put that tight ponytail in, and you get home, you take that ponytail off, and then you hit one of these. Oh, that's how it feels to finally take the mask off from trying to fit in with the rest of the crowd. It feels like I'm taking this ponytail out, and I get to breathe, and I feel this release, this relief. It feels like a shavasana. When you finally take the mask off at the end of yoga, when you end the practice and you just surrender and you just lay there and you are just in this state of allowance, that's how it feels to take the mask off. And here's the beautiful thing about the internet, is that it's encouraged to take the mask off. You're encouraged to be yourself. Now people are trying to be who you have always been as a trend, when you were made fun of it for it, when you were talked down about it. But now people acting like how you have always been. You've always stood out. You've always been very animated, out there, creative, imaginative. You've always been these things, and now we're seeing it being celebrated online because people are so drawn to authenticity. But now people are pretending to be this person, and it's not authentic anymore because they're saying that it's a trend. And you're like, when did I become a trend? And I used to get made fun of. I know I see black girls do it all the time when they talk about their lips. And they're like, it's crazy. I used to always get made fun of for having big lips, and now everybody want to get lip injections. Or I used to get made fun of for my body, you know, when the curvier body was in style. And I used to always get made fun of for, you know, how big I am. But now everybody wants to be my size. Or now skinny isn't style. Like, some things are always trendy. That's why it's like, this is so important to be yourself, because trends are going to always change. But when you are true to you and you are comfortable in your skin and you love you, then you won't care about a trend. You become the trendsetter. Even if smaller bodies are in, if you have a curvier body, if you are a little bigger, if you are so comfortable in your skin, then you still are the trendsetter. You still stand out. And that's also important, is like why you don't want to follow trends, is because as someone who naturally stands out, following trends is blending in. You no longer want to do that because you're recognizing the power in being who you truly are. And you don't have to like act and pretend like a lot of these people on the internet are doing. And again, it's so nice to see people, you know, to see the things that were so weird about you, to see these things that were quirky about you being celebrated. And it's like a permission slip that like there are people who are waiting for you, waiting for your personality, because they're going to resonate with it so deeply, and it's going to make them feel good and seen and safe and protected and heard and validated. That's your job to do that for them through your art. So just think about it. All those years you spent trying to blend in, trying to tone yourself down, what did it get you? Frustrated, annoyed, feeling like you were always pretending, exhausted, a sense that you've lost yourself, always looking for meaning, always looking for purpose, just always looking for something, very much something. But that's because you were never meant to blend in. You were born to stand out, period. You know it, I know it, everybody else knows it. Everybody else looks at you and they know. They're like, this person was meant to stand out. This person was meant to be something great. Like, how many times have you been told that in your life? Somebody just comes up to you and they're like, I don't know what it is about you, but you're gonna be a star, or you're gonna create massive impact. I'm sure you've heard that many times, more times than you can count. People are like, I don't know what it is about you. Or when you talk, they listen. Or when you sing, when you perform, when you draw, when you dance, anything that you do, you command attention. You have stardom. You have star power. But then as soon as too many eyes get on you, it reminds you, it takes you back. It takes you back to when you were a kid, right? It takes you back to that time when all the eyes were on you, but not in a good way. It was people pointing and making fun of you because you were odd. takes you back there. And then you go, I don't like it. I don't like it. I'll stay in my hole, even though your soul is calling for you to express. We have no other job on this. Like, we were not, I mean, sure, from a biological standpoint, it seems that our evolutionary function is just to replicate. All cells, like cells are to replicate. Right? Born, do whatever a cell does, and it dies. I like to compare us to like cells in a body. That's a whole other theory that maybe we talk about one day. But anyways, so it seems that that's our function, is to get born, replicate, die, and in between work a job, financially support ourselves, have a little bit of fun, and then die. But really, I believe because we are self-aware, because we are raising our collective consciousness, because of the time that we are born in, we are in a digital renaissance. I'm going to make a whole video about the digital renaissance next week. Long essay type form video, so look out for that. I said it, so I got to do it now. God, I've had the idea for a while, and I started the script, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a lot of work. But I want to talk about the digital renaissance, because that's what we are in. How it was a renaissance back then, where the arts and the maths and the sciences were coming up, and it created this widespread just innovation. It really did raise the collective consciousness in Europe at the time. We are experiencing the same thing now. We are experiencing a digital renaissance. So it's up to you. It's on you to become a part of that through your art, by standing out what you are naturally born to do. So Neville Goddard said, imagination is the very gateway of reality. And if you've been feeling out of place in this world, let me tell you, this is your superpower. Your imagination isn't just a place to escape to. It's the tool you use to shape your life. When you were a kid, I'm sure you were a daydreamer too. I'm sure you still daydream. And somebody got to come to you and do like this. And you're like, oh, whoa, where was I at? Right? I know as a kid, I used to do that all the time. I would go. And I would know I was doing this. Sometimes I would shake myself out of it. But sometimes people would be like, and I would go, whoa. You know, because I'm coming back too. Because I was just always imagining and creating worlds, not realizing that imagination is literally what's shaping reality, period. Imagination is, that's all reality is. It's a bunch of imagination, because all reality is it's a infinite potentiality. It's just atoms vibrating in space. But when the eye interacts with the atoms, the eye somehow like gives it form based on the signals that it sent. Girl, I'm not about to act like I know the science behind it, but I do know enough to know that it's just atoms vibrating in space, and the observer effect, right? The atoms change based on the observer, and the way they change has everything to do with like perception, and the perception has to do with conditioning, and conditioning comes from your environment, and it comes from also your DNA. So imagination is creating reality. This isn't actually real. It's more like a hallucination, and we can alter the hallucination, alter the dream, by shifting our perspective. So when it comes to standing out, when it comes to being able to like stand firm in who you are and not have this fear about, you know, people making fun of you or just being ostracized anymore, allowing that fear to dwindle away, use your imagination. In my last video, I talked about how inner conversations play out. Others are always echoing what you whisper in silence. What are you saying to yourself, and what are you consenting to in imagination? And consenting to, I mean, like, what are you agreeing to? Well, what are you giving your attention to in imagination? That's always going to play out. So consent to, people are celebrating you for taking the leap and going back to who you were before the world tried to tell you who to be. Consent to people being obsessed in a good way over your art, being obsessed over your creativity. When you realize that imagination creates reality, you stop looking outside yourself for validation. Everything begins to align. What you're imagining about yourself and your life and about the world around you, that's just what's going to get reflected back to you. Kind of what I just said. Look, I'm talking before the script. So ask yourself, what have you been imagining, and is it serving you? Because if you've been imagining that you're not good enough, that you don't belong, that it's not safe to stand out like a sore thumb because it means too much attention, and attention does not equal good. Like, attention equals bad replications, right? There's always these negative replications with attention. That's exactly what is going to continue to show up. But here's the good news: you can change that. So how are we going to change it? By changing your imaginal acts. And the best way to change your imaginal acts is not from the limited self, but from who you truly are. Because when you change it from the limited self, what's going to happen is you're going to imagine limitations. So if you imagine yourself as a black woman who came from a low, like, working class family, you had to work really, really hard in order to get things, and you saw that modeled around you, and you know, you have all these issues, like you have ADHD, you have like anxiety, high anxiety, you have depression, you have bipolar disorder. So now you're trying to imagine a future from that self, which means you're always going to think about everything that comes with that. Well, how am I going to do this when I have anxiety? And so I have to imagine something that's going to, like, treat the that is the limit. That is the limitation. That is just the vehicle that you are using to navigate the dream. Just imagine from the all, where limitations don't exist, where there are no boundaries, no limits. I just said limitations. No limits, no corners, no boxes. You can just imagine from the true self. And how do we do that? By recognizing that you are beyond the limited self. By using what I like to say is my system. It's called the Beyond Self system. This is how I help my clients to align with their ideal realities and to take off in their creative fields and their just in their creative fields. My client Z, again, I'm shouting her out. She said, man, I can't think of it. I told her to use it in my marketing too. She said, I'm a healing artist. That's what she said. She said, I'm a healing artist. You know, even if that's what you do, right? If you don't think of yourself as an artist because of, oh, you can't draw, you don't have any musical abilities, you can't sew. I always forget, like, sewing, and that's art. Cooking, I also think cooking is an art. Everything is art when you think about it. But let's say none of those things you feel like you have no skills. And this was me as a kid. I always felt like I have no skills. All my friends are so good. Like my best friend, she was a gymnast. I had another friend, she was really good at now I can't remember. I can only think about her because I just remember she was a very great gymnast. And then I had another friend who was good at running, and I mean, these are all athletic. Just other things. I just felt like, what is my gift? I feel like I don't have a talent. I don't have that much athleticism. I'm not a great singer. I'm not a great dancer. I feel like I could act, but I'm not staying long enough in drama. I don't want to be a weird drama kid. I wish I would have did it, but I didn't want to be a weird drama kid. And all these just limitations. I put all these limitations on myself, not realizing that the greatest skill that I have is that I'm very empathetic, and that I can get others to believe in themselves and to see like the power within them. And that is an artist. It's the art of healing. So shout out to UZ for saying healing artist, because that's exactly what I am. That's what she is. That's what so many of you are. And you're a healing artist through so many mediums too. So you heal through your art, through your photography, through your musical talents, through your ability to dance, through your ability to make a pretty cool shirt, to sew, as a writer, as a poet, right? That is your healing ability, and that is how you heal others. Or if not, you heal others just with your presence, and then that's art. That's alchemy, baby. So to recognize that you are more than this limited self, because I went off a tangent, here we go, back to the script. That you are more than a self, that you are not just your body, your mind, or your circumstances. You are the awareness behind it all. I've said that many times. I'm going to continue to say it because I can hear the truth a million times. It's not until 1,000,001 that it finally clicks. So I don't know if that resonates with you. But, hey, This could be the time where it clicks. So I'm gonna keep saying it. You are the awareness behind all of experience. You are not just what you perceive. That is a part of it. Don't also forget that you are the awareness, because so many times when you forget, you feel claustrophobic. You feel very boxed in and limited to your circumstances, to your conditions. But when you can expand the truth of who you are by constantly taking your attention to who am I? What is it that's aware of my experience? When you constantly take your attention there, you expand beyond the body and the egoic mind. And you go into the one mind. All is mind, but there's only one mind appearing to look like separate minds. So how do we do that? I always say like self-inquiry, but I feel like if you've never heard this type of information, then self-inquiry is, I'm trying to take you from point A to point M. I want to take you from point A to point B, and the best way to go from point A to point B is to first go to the breath. So as many times as you can, go to the breath. Go to the breath. Remember that your breath is your anchor. Your anchor is your breath. Shout out to Yoga with Adrian. Your breath is your anchor, and your anchor is your breath. Keep going to the breath. Keep going to the breath. As many times as you can. Just focus on that inhale and that exhale. And then when you find yourself really intentionally going to the inhale and the exhale, from there you can start to ask the questions. Or from there just become really curious about the present moment. What's happening around you? What are you seeing? What are you smelling? What are you tasting? What are you touching? What are you touching, smelling, whatever. I feel like I say 4 sentences and I forget the last one. Y'all put it down below. But what's happening in the moment? Really become engaged, deeply engaged. And when you do this practice long enough, constantly going to the breath, mindfulness, right? Really practicing mindfulness, and we have this under the belt. We're quieting down the environment. We're not constantly watching something, having something playing. I am starting a 7-day quiet challenge because I haven't did it in a while. I haven't did it in probably a couple months, and I need it. My dopamine receptors are fried, so I definitely need to go back to just being present with the moment and finding joy in the little things and not needing the big things to make me happy. I talked about that in my last video. So yeah, if you're interested in joining that journey, it's a 7-day journey, click the link down. Follow me on Instagram and I'll be talking more about it. Yeah, just follow me on Instagram and I'll be talking more about it. And yeah, when you get that down pat, practicing mindfulness, going to the breath, then you can start asking the question, who am I? Then you can start really engaging in self-inquiry. Who is it that's aware of my breathing? Who is it that's aware of what I'm looking at? And the answer, any answer that comes up, notice that you are also aware of that, so that can't be it. You want to keep taking your attention back to like, what is it that's aware of any answer? Just keep taking the attention back. Keep taking the attention back. Actually, this video is getting kind of long, but let's go into a practice. Close your eyes. Deep inhale. Long exhale out. Long exhale out. Now count the inhale and the exhale of your breath. So one inhale will be 1. Exhale 2. Inhale 3. Exhale 4. And do that all the way till you get to 10. And just go through about 2 rounds of that. 2. Now that you have a good handle on the inhale and the exhale, just keep your attention there. I want you to notice that you are aware of the inhale and the exhale. So what is it that's aware of the inhale and the exhale? Take your attention there. And remember, any answer that comes up, you're aware of it. So what is it that's aware of that inhale and that exhale that you were just with? And the inhale and exhale is still going on even if you're not paying attention to it. So what is it that's aware of that inhale and that exhale? And if you have to, just go back to the inhale and the exhale. Become aware of that first. Ground yourself. And then go to what is it that's aware of this sensation. Just take your attention there. Any answer that comes up, if you're aware of the answer, it can't be it. What you're looking for is beyond awareness. You are not going to be aware of this. It's not going to be able to be found with your normal faculties that you use to explore and navigate your world. This is not going to be seen through the sense perceived world. This is something deeper than the sense. Maybe you could say like the sixth sense, which is like intuition. But even that, this is beyond intuition, because what is it that's aware of the intuition? This is the practice that I want you to engage in to go back to the self. Now, you don't need to like have this realization and know yourself as the I am beyond knowledge in order to still imagine that, you know, you are safe, you are validated, and it's okay for you to stand out. And people accept you as you stand out. But when you make this practice a priority mixed in with imagination, there's a holistic approach to manifestation rather than just going straight to imagination, changing your thoughts to change your world, and then getting what you desire, not being happy and desiring some more, and then being on this hamster wheel. Go into the I am. Imagining. Staying with the I am. Allowing all these truths to be revealed to you through experience is exactly what you're looking for. What you're looking for is wholeness. What you're looking for is truth. What you're looking for is self-realization. And you think that you're going to find those things through objects, through the sense-perceived world, which is why you think it's going to be the thing that makes you happy. It's going to be the thing. Or even if you're like, I know it's not going to make me happy, but it's just going to be nice to have. Sure. But why? Why is what you have right now not nice to have? Why do you want something else? And then ask yourself that question and just keep going back. And eventually you'll realize it's just because you don't feel enough. You feel incomplete. The only reason why you feel incomplete is because you are identifying with a limited self, which is by definition incomplete, because it is a part of the whole. You got to remember that you are the whole and stop identifying only with the part, because you're always going to feel incomplete when you identify with the part. Okay, when you see yourself as awareness behind experiences, you realize there's nothing to prove. You are already whole. You are already enough. And when you live from that place of knowing, you naturally stand out because you're no longer trying to be anyone else. You're just being you. You couldn't be anyone else even if you wanted to be. But when you start to remember, mix in there with imagine, there's this deep sense of fulfillment, this deep sense of just love for yourself, for the environment, for everything. So, yeah, I mean, this is already pretty long. I don't want to make this any longer. I can support you with this realization through the Enlightened Conscious Creator program, where it's all about helping you remember the truth of who you are, while also using the faculties of imagination to imagine your dream life into existence. So if you're interested, book a discovery call down below, or an alignment call, discovery call, just to see if we're a good fit and to see if I am a great teacher for you. Maybe we don't align, and I can guide you to other resources, which is what I've done before for people. I say, hey, I don't think that we'll be a good match, especially men. Unfortunately, I don't work with men, so I only work with women. So man, if you're a man, follow me on Instagram. We can connect there. But as far as like one-on-ones or in my coaching programs, it is a women-only space. Or if you identify as a woman, or if you identify as a woman, then this space is for you. It's for creatives. It's for people who really want to, step out of what they've been told to do. Right? You don't want to work a job forever. It don't even feel right in your soul. You weren't meant to do that. You were meant to create, to impact, to lead, to inspire, to change lives. And that's what my program helps individuals do. Like my client MJ, who is dropping an EP. It'll be out today. I'm pretty sure I'm posting this on the day she's dropping it. It's called 333. Check her out. Her name is MJ Parker. And she's dropping an EP that is very elevating to the collective. EP, I say MP. EP she was sitting on for a long time before we started working together, and she realized that this is exactly what she's meant to do. And we worked through some blockages, and we continue to work with going back to the I am. We continue to utilize imagination, continue to utilize working with the subconscious to bring about what we deeply desire. I say we because I mean there is no separation between us, but really her. And she's creating amazing impact. And I'm just so happy that her EP is out, because we've been talking about it. Like, she's manifested so much. I'm going to interview her too. I have like 2 clients to interview, because I want you guys to know there is power in what I do. Okay? There is so much power in what I do and what I help my clients achieve. And I'm going to start bragging more, because I feel like I don't brag enough for myself as a coach, and like how I am able to assist and lead and support my clients through amazing transformations. So I'm gonna be talking my shit a bit more when it comes to my clients, because I'm obsessed with getting them results, period, because I know this works, and I know the power of knowing your true self, of having systems in place, of having the accountability, because I will be on your ass, of having that accountability, and then of just staying with the imagination, staying with this ideal version of yourself, and showing up as that version of yourself. There's power in that. And that's how you're really going to change your life. And some of you guys, you got like the imagination part down. You even got the spiritual work of knowing yourself as the I am, but you don't have any systems. Maybe you're a little bit ADHD. Look, I'm putting that limitation on you. Maybe you do have that little bit of ADHD where you can't focus long enough to like do it, execute, bring the idea into the world. You can't focus long enough. So that's why I'm here for it, to be like, come on. What we doing? But yeah, that's all I got. I'm very passionate about my work, as you can see, because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. But that's all I got, y'all. I love y'all. Y'all know all the stuff to do. Join the Beyond Collective. Artists, women artists, we are here for you, to support you towards your dreams. We are going to start having what is that called when you work together, like cohorts? Like co-working sessions. So if you do struggle for real with discipline, come join the group, because we're going to start having co-working sessions where we spend like 2 hours just working on a project together in a shared space. And then also we have weekly Q&As, weekly workshops. And yeah, it's just a nice place to hang out with people who are on the same journey as you. So that is all I got. I will be seeing you guys later. Subscribe, like, all the good stuff. Love you guys. Bye.